The name is on the front. Kick your heels up the front. Kick your name up the front. Kick your name up the front. Come on now, the name is right on the front. Come on, everybody, front. Yeah, 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 say you will. Come on, chat it up, Mike. Hey, you will. Brendo to Brendo. Hey, you will. Come on and shout. Yeah, shout, name is on the front. The name is where front. Where's the name? The name is on the front. You got the name, it's on the front now. You got the name, it is on the front. Hey, 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 hey. The name's on the front. The name's on the front. The name is on the front. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I had to add the Bills in there because that's their song. That's their touchdown song. Right. And that's why I did it, because NFL's coming back today.
A nice minute and a half intro there.
Nobody's still watching.
No.
But
We'll just fast forward it. Start me halfway through.
yeah. Go.
Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, follow us all on there. It's name on the front. You could be the 36th subscriber right now if you subscribe to us on YouTube.
That's a huge number.
So I don't know, who's your favorite number 35 in sports history for our 35 subscribers? A lot of great 35s out there.
Yeah, there's
36
so many,
is the more important.
There's so many to.
All right, favorite. Who's your favorite 36? Marcus Smart,
Yeah, I don't know.
Dmitry Yuskevich.
Is Marcus Smart 36?
I think he is.
Because isn't
Yeah, he is.
Jerome Bettis. Bergeron's 38, I think.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, there's a lot. I thought Bergeron was 36.
All right.
That's a Boston number.
Anyways, some great 36s. We also, big news, we're launching a new website this week. You're going to go there for, it's thefrontpage.ca. Well, Mike will flash that on the screen for you there. We're going to have all your greatest sports content, written articles.
The greatest.
World famous sports takes.
Yeah, that's what you come here for. Now you can read them too. So frontpage.ca, check it out.
Also, and coming out the same time as this week's episode, we're gonna have NFL picks.
We'll have NFL picks
on a weekly basis, separate video.
And we'll be
game breakdowns.
we're gonna be keeping track of our like total our records, right?
It's like,
see who knows the NFL the best.
it's gonna be an intense competition.
Maybe we'll put our Jays record thing up there. I think I'm already out, but
yeah, I think you're eliminated from that.
So
but
maybe we'll have somebody break down the percentages of who's more likely to win.
Dude, I've been counting down the losses. I'm like, we can only lose 3 more times for me to be right. So I'm like, I'm so nervous.
yeah, but you still got quite a few to be closest.
I know, but I want to be right.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough.
Yeah,
like I don't think it's gonna happen, but who knows?
Huge week in sports.
Yeah, like this is where like I'm like, we gotta start doing 2 a weeks because there's way too much fucking shit that we didn't cover. Like the OG shot feels like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like
I
think
in like
was the whole like when we recorded last that was the day of game 1, I think.
The last time we recorded was the day of the OG shot.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, they were down 2-0 when we recorded.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
That's
because
pretty crazy. A lot
we were
happened
down in
since
the
then.
dumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Because we were talking about doing an emergency cast the next day.
That's right.
But then me and Aaron got too drunk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that went out the window.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting
That's right.
I was sitting at the news desk ready to go, but Mike just wasn't ready. So I mean, whatever. I mean, I was gonna get you guys an episode, but
So I guess
Maybe we'll have one Friday.
briefly.
yeah, I'd be down for that.
Friday or Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday would be good.
Oh, after the
Tomorrow. Yeah. Well,
game 7. Yeah.
Or just like we don't have to do a full episode. Like we can do like what we're doing with our picks. We'll just have like a reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a separate video of our NFL picks on the YouTube channel too. So look out for that. That'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think I already said that.
Did
but-
you? Well, it's
Yeah, he did.
just you got to reiterate, man. You
Yeah.
just got to drive things home.
drive it
That's
into their heads.
Radio 101.
They're stupid.
For all you
Idiots.
idiots out there who don't understand anything, there will be a separate video for NFL picks on the YouTube channel, which you have to subscribe to so you don't have to go looking for it.
Don't be stupid like the rest of them. Subscribe.
Be
Get in on
36.
this. Come
Number
on, boys and
36.
girls.
All right, let's get into this because we've just wasted 5 minutes.
All right,
It's not, I don't think it was a waste. I think it was a lot
we'll
of
break
fun.
down the OG shot
Yeah.
first, I guess. That was
The craziest play I've ever seen a Toronto sports team do.
yeah. Well, I would say the Kawhi shot is crazier, but I think just
I don't think so.
No, this
You
was
think?
more like that.
This was more unlikely.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this was
Well-
just like I had quit. Mike knows. I was.
Yeah.
I came to this table where you can't see it, but we have a green room behind the camera, filled with couches. That's where we usually watch TV, in the green room. So we were sitting on those couches, and then once Kemba made that pass to Tice, I was like, it's 0.5 seconds left. It's over. I came and sat down here, and since our TV was a little bit behind the regular feed, I look on Twitter because that's where I go to drown my sorrows, and it says at the top like 104, 103 Raptors, and I'm like, wait a second. And I didn't want to spoil anything, but I just had this huge grin on my face, and Mike's like, what did you see? And I just I put my face in the pillow and just started giggling. like something's coming.
But I still didn't. So I got in my group chat with my buddies in Calgary. They were like, that was sick. Like, what a pass. Unbelievable. And I was like, why are you guys so excited about that Kemba Walker pass?
Yeah, like,
Tice?
you traitors.
Like, I was like, yeah, I get it. It was nice, but like, I don't understand why they're so excited. And then I see him giggle, but then I was like, oh, he's getting excited because Taco Falls go checking into the game.
No, that wasn't it.
And I was like in denial of not accepting that like you just spoiled something for me. And then like,
But I
then
really
right
didn't
before-
want to
right
spoil it.
before
It was just
happened, I was like, oh,
emotion-
we score. We
Yeah.
score here.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to spoil it. That's why I put my head in the because I was like I couldn't contain myself.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like I was done and I was drunk.
I
So
still
it's
I still enjoyed it.
yeah, I like hurt my arm fist pumping so much after that happened. I was fucking jacked
Dude,
up.
last night, how many times I was running around the room during overtime?
Oh, I was sweating.
It was back and forth, just like we'd hit a 3, they'd hit a fucking 3, then we'd like, oh man.
It's taking a toll on me for sure.
Yeah.
But I think just back to that OG shot a little bit. Just I don't know if it's an incredible play call by Nick Nurse to draw that up because I guess apparently the Celtics in situations like that, they always go zone.
Well, I
All
don't
year long they've gone into
Yeah.
zone. So I guess just to sneak OG into the corner like that.
Well, like Tatum just didn't follow him.
Yeah, he crashed.
I thought it was
at the-
Jaylen Brown.
Well, Tatum was
He was
originally
supposed to be
Tatum
on
was
it.
on OG at when they started the play.
But a zone, wouldn't he have to do the
yeah,
switch?
so I guess Jalen
So they-
Brown just didn't rotate properly. I
Yeah,
don't know.
or they like tried to crash at the top of the arc, but
Yeah.
it just unbelievable shot.
And the like Kyle Lowry put it in the only spot he could have put it
That
for
was-
OG to have enough time to get the shot off.
Like if you watch that pass from the time Lowry lets it go, OG doesn't move his hands. And
No,
it lands. It's insane.
And it's right in the perfect spot where he can go right into his shot.
yeah, and it lands
And that's the only way he would have got that
Yeah.
shot off. That was it was a ridiculous play.
over
Dude,
a
if
guy
you-
who's 8 feet tall.
If you
too.
watch it, from the back angle, it almost looks like he pushes it.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect, like the only way that shot could have worked is like how he did it.
And another crazy
It was
thing,
crazy.
I'm sure you guys saw this, but this probably couldn't have happened if they were in
Yeah, I
with
saw
fans
that.
in the stadium because of
How far back Lowry was
yeah,
standing.
because as soon as Taco Fall came out there, Lowry took a step back to give himself more room. And
Right.
if they were in a regular stadium, they were like Drake would be sitting. He'd be sitting in Drake's lap,
Yeah.
trying to throw the pass.
And Drake would have said that he made the pass. He was part of it.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
I
Drake would-
actually drew
He was
that.
whispering in his ears like, "Oh, geez, open."
Drake would have been on the court if that
Yo, OG.
that was in Toronto. Or I guess that would have been in Boston.
I think the best part of it all is just the swagger of
Oh.
OG Anunoby. Doesn't Selly
Ice cold.
after the game.
He was Richard Kuklinski.
He almost
levels.
got mad at the question. Like they were like, "Why were you not celebrating?" He was like angry.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, because I expect to make it.
Yeah.
I don't shoot to miss.
I don't shoot trying to
Yeah.
miss.
He's like,
Was-
"Why are you asking
cool.
me stupid questions?"
Honestly, if OG got arrested and it came out that he was like an assassin,
Yeah.
like I'd believe it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah. I mean, he's fucking cold blooded, like Richard Kuklinski.
Yeah, and his
The
response,
Iceman?
they'd be interviewing him outside of the courthouse, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a killer.
I don't shoot trying to miss.
Look in my
Yeah, like-
eyes."
Yeah, like what do you think I would do for a living? I hurt my leg. I can't play basketball anymore.
I'm cold blooded.
so this is what I had to do.
All right, I don't even really remember what happened in Game 4.
Well, Game 4, that was the best
Game 4,
game we played.
we controlled
Yeah.
it. We were up the whole game.
Yeah.
Like it felt like
By,
we
like,
were
5.
the Celtics.
Yeah.
But that's what the Celtics have done to us every single game. It's like
Well, they beat us by like 30.
I know, but like
they too.
in the two of the games other than Game 1, because we'll just sweep that under the rug. It was like we're with you, but like we never passed them. Even last night, we passed them with like
I
we
would
passed them
say
like twice maybe,
that-
and then we just held it.
I
Game
was
5
thinking
was
about
the
this.
worst, I think.
Well,
for me.
I feel like this is maybe the most one-sided series I've ever seen that is going to 7 games.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah,
we
don't deserve to be in 7.
I'm gonna try and
The way we've shot,
be
the way
as
we've
unbiased
played.
as I can
Although-
here. We're the worst team this whole series.
Yeah.
Like things are coming
don't-
way harder for us
and
than
we
they
don't-
are for them.
Yeah, and we're not playing Raptor basketball, which is why I'm so confident for Game 7 because we got here not playing our game. And I think it is a mixture of like how good they play defensively, but it's also like we're not making shots. And I know like at the end of the day, like if it happens 6 games in a row or five of the 6 games that we're not making shots, it has
You have
a
to
lot
give some
more to
credit
do
to the other team.
Exactly. It has a lot more to do with the defense. But Fred missing all of these wide open threes, it's just like uncharacteristic of him. Like that, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like I think the one person that you can say, okay, this is all the Boston D is Siakam. I don't think Siakam's playing poorly. I think they just have figured him out.
The one
And Jaylen Brown is just outclassing him.
Jaylen Brown is proving.
He's opening my eyes
yeah.
to like how fucking good he is. Like I didn't think he was that good. I thought he was good because I knew he went top 5 in the NBA draft.
Yeah, about that.
He was like, yeah, I think he went 4th. Right?
He almost like I thought this coming into the series, I was like, it's like Tatum and Kemba Walker, like Jaylen Brown's pretty good too, but it's like a legit like 3-headed monster.
Yeah.
Like they have 3 guys who are all-stars.
Yeah. And then
Gordon Hayward, who's
Yeah,
not
who's
even
not even
playing,
playing.
and then Marcus Smart, who's just
Marcus
Makes you
Smart's
wanna
like,
kill him every
He's a
time.
Raptor
He's a
killer.
poor man's Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Like he's nowhere near as good as he's the guy who if he's on your team you love him and you hate him if he's not on your team.
I kind of love him.
I
Like, I'm not
respect
gonna
him.
lie,
I
I'm
respect
not-
him.
I'm not gonna lie.
He was
Like,
getting a little annoyed. Like he was flopping around so
like
much.
the flop
in
at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, and the
But
one
Kemba-
on
But Kyle does that shit too.
He does, yeah.
Kyle does that shit.
Kemba bothers me more with his flopping, to be honest.
Kemba. Oh, I think Marcus Smart's like the worst
Yeah.
flopper in the league.
I
The
don't
one
know.
thing though, with
I remember seeing it like 2 games ago. Kemba like doing that flailing shit after he'd throw up a shot.
yeah.
It's
Well, I'll
just
show
like,
you
nobody
some.
touched you.
But maybe you might be more annoyed because with Marcus Smart, everyone is like, "Oh, Marcus Smart's doing that again." With
Yeah.
Kemba, they're like, "Oh, what a superstar!" Like,
Yeah.
So you're like, "This is more annoying."
Yeah, so they don't call Kemba out.
And
I
again,
guess, that might be.
It's probably very similar to Lowry, but I think the one thing with Marcus Smart is that he does all the same things as Lowry. He's just more of a dick about it. Almost is the way to phrase it. Because like when Lowry does it, it's like a crafty veteran. That's
That
the way
might
it's
be
looked at.
that
might
could
be
be
because
your
of who he is.
Toronto.
Perception.
You're right.
That's
bias,
perception.
You're right, but he
right?
doesn't like.
That's perception.
I'm sure other teams
I
think
think-
Lowry's a dick. Sometimes.
I think Lowry gets.
I think every team hates Lowry.
I think
yeah.
most times
Which
Lowry
makes me like him
Yeah.
more.
Lowry will get hit and like accentuate the hit, whereas like Marcus Smart will like I don't know, maybe this is again his bias, but Marcus Smart makes something out of nothing more often.
Part of
than Lowry
that
does.
probably is the fact that Lowry's just better.
You're right,
So
yeah.
he is
Gets in
probably
the spots.
actually getting fouled a lot more than Marcus
Lowry's
Smart is.
also
Yeah.
bouncier, so like he'll bounce off of people and there's that cushion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going for a joke and it
No,
didn't.
I
It's okay. No, it's okay, guys. You have to hold me accountable for horrible jokes.
this series has been a roller coaster. Like obviously started
Just
horrible.
didn't come through.
We get the highs with the OG shot, then the Game 4 win. Game 5 a crushing low again.
That was. I know we said this after game 1 too. It was you knew that game was over probably 15
Tip-off.
minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, the way I look at it is every single time the Raptors have won the title, we've had to go to double overtime
Yeah,
to beat a team.
The last
Yeah.
time we went to double
Yeah.
OT, everything turned around.
Yeah,
This is like,
that's what happens, guys. That's the Raptors. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's like
just like Raptor basketball.
It's a double OT win that you don't feel good about after.
It's
Yep.
the
You're
Bucks and
We had to do everything we had to squeak by. How are we going to beat this team in the next game?
and then we just dominate them.
Yeah.
So let's dominate.
so
it's the
That's the way I look at it.
the Bucks and Sixers series rolled into one. You have the miracle shot in the beginning of the series, and then you have the double OT down 2-0.
When
being
you're up
more-
against the wall.
Yeah,
We're
it's
being
everything.
more efficient this time.
Or double, yeah.
We're doing it all in one series. So next series we can just blow out Miami.
Yeah.
That's the way it's working. Right?
Well, yeah.
So that game,
I'm still so scared.
well, there's no reason.
there's
to,
no
like,
reason
There's
for me
no
to think-
logical reason for anyone to think the Raptors are going to win Game 7, except for the fact that this team is just
don't go away.
Don't count them out. That's
Don't
the
underestimate
only,
the heart of a champion.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can point to. All signs point to that Boston is the better team, that they have the Raptors numbered, that they're going to win Game 7. But I don't know. There's something about this Raptors team that like I'm just gonna ride with them to the end until I see them actually get eliminated.
For sure. I mean, I would have done that regardless, but like,
But I would have
that's
done
just-
it with like even in the back of my mind, like knowing they're gonna lose. I don't know that just because of
yeah.
the,
You're saying like even if
like, you know
okay.
what I mean? Like I'm gonna ride with the Leafs, but like I know they're gonna lose. Like they're gonna lose.
See, my problem is like I convince myself that we're not going to lose with the Leafs. The Leafs are I revert back to like a child when I'm watching the Leafs.
Okay,
like,
but
that's-
it
you know
doesn't
what I mean?
take
Like,
as
it's
much
weird.
convincing
Yeah,
with the Raptors.
Yeah. Not as much mental gymnastics that I have to do to convince myself, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, the game yesterday, Game 6, maybe one of the greatest basketball games of all time. There's a little bit of Toronto sports bias there, but
I was on Twitter at a few points like
A
during
lot
the
of people
game,
were saying
and
best of the bubble at least.
yeah.
it's hard to judge like how great a game is when you're cheering for one of the teams.
Yeah, because
you're just like
living and dying with
you're-
everything.
You're nervous.
I couldn't appreciate how good this game was because I was fucking like a mess the whole time.
exactly.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
But when you're watching two teams that you don't care about, that's when you're like, oh, this game's crazy.
Watching those Nuggets Jazz
Right.
series, like that series was fucking crazy.
And
I was like, holy shit.
And that's what it seemed like a lot of people on Twitter who didn't have a rooting interest were like talking about yesterday. Like this game is wild. Like it's just back and forth. Like it looks like Raptors are gonna win, then the Celtics do something.
100%. Yeah, I still personally think that the thing about the Nuggets Jazz series for comparing it to this game is like they had 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
So to me those are all like one.
Yeah.
So like for me like that series is still the best because like trading 40-point games, like it's point guard on point guard, nobody else is like really stepping up and like it was like those old fashioned like I mean obviously I didn't watch those, but like those old fashioned like you versus me, like whoever the better player is, their
that's
team's gonna win.
It's like just two guys putting like teams on their backs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that to me is like just entertaining as hell, especially when I don't have a rooting interest.
Yeah,
This one was almost like
but
the opposite. Like no one was really putting the team. It was like two teams like who couldn't.
2 defenses.
I mean, I know we can talk about Kyle Lowry, but like it was two. There was no like
And
star dominating. the
Jaylen
game.
Brown was unbelievable yesterday.
Jaylen Brown's thing, though, is he doesn't
He doesn't pop, like, but
He doesn't-
like he's got 31 points.
Yeah, he's never like the focal point. He'll be like Tatum will
He's
drive
taking-
and kick it out to Brown in the
taking
corner and he'll
corner
drill it.
threes
Yeah.
or like
Oh.
steals on the
He's
breakaway.
the he's like the premier 3-and-D guy in
Those
the league
corner
right now, I
threes
think.
were making me like rip my hair
Oh,
out.
yeah, I think it was 3 or
They're
4
just
at the
wide
start of-
open.
yeah, the 3 or 4 in the
Yeah,
fourth quarter.
yeah.
They just like
I was like,
cut the lead to.
just put someone out there. Like I don't understand what defense
Well,
you're doing enough.
it was always like Tatum creating like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're at the advantage. We don't have a guy who can do that.
And it would be great if Siakam could because he has the ball.
He's
the
just
whole
so
time.
he gets it in the post and it's just like it's
he's a-
slow. It's like it takes him.
Yo, CJ McCollum tweeted out during the game, like at K-Lau, stop passing to Buddy, and then in brackets, Buddy is Pascal Siakam. I was like, I
Yikes.
That is
totally
savage.
agree.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, because Siakam, he's just been the focal point of the offense, and then they just keep banging their head against the wall, hoping something is going to pop with him, and it just hasn't
he's
yet.
So predictable when he gets the ball.
got
He's
the-
just
the
way too
one-
predictable.
The one post move or a pull up 3. Actually, he wasn't doing that very much last
And
game.
it does every once in a while. It works, but then I feel like that gives him false like he's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep going to the well.
But I don't like. At this point, I don't think it's him doing it. I think it's like
Nurse is calling the plays
yes,
for
and
him.
I think the Raptors are behind that too, like the team, because they.
Well, I think
need
they
it.
realize
They
like
need it.
if we want to win a title, we need a game breaker.
Yeah.
And you're the one who has the skill set to do it. But maybe he doesn't.
And it's like, and
Kyle's
Kyle,
our game breaker now.
Kyle's exhausted at this point. Like he can't do it all the time,
Kyle
and he needs.
he's doing what he needs to do, and he knows what he needs to do, but he's not that guy that you just go to like
Yeah.
every possession. Like, we need a basket, go to him. He does those like pull up threes. That one post move he did at the end was
On
insane.
The fadeaway?
Kemba?
Yeah.
The one on
Yeah.
Kemba,
That
yeah.
was-
Where Stephen A.
like-
Smith pointed it out. He was like, Jason Tatum made it, or was it Tatum, or was it? No, it was Marcus Smart. He was like, Marcus Smart made a mistake there because Kemba and Smart switched on that defensive possession. So like, Marcus Smart all game was like guarding Kyle Lowry,
Yeah.
and then on that switch, like, I don't know if that was a mistake or if they were supposed to be doing that, but like on that switch, Kyle. Like, Stephen A. was like, immediately you could see Kyle being like, okay, I'm shooting
Yeah,
now.
every chance he got, he was
Yeah.
going at Kemba in that game
Yeah.
because Kemba can't guard him.
So
The crazy thing
good
too
shout out
is
Stephen A. if you're watching this.
Marcus Smart, like, even when ends up on Siakam, like, Siakam tries to post him up and
He
he can't
can't,
do
yeah.
anything. And Marcus Smart's like 6'2", 6'3".
Smart. Well, Lowry's like that too, right? Like,
Yeah,
you-
they're just
you
like
can't
bullies
post those
in the
guys up.
post.
Yeah.
Even on guys way bigger than them. So we got Game 7.
Do you want to talk about?
Or do you want?
Yeah, the Nick Nurse thing in the corner.
Oh.
There's two more things I want to talk about with this game here. So there was the Nick Nurse play in the corner where I guess Tatum ran a pick and roll, or Tatum was driving to the hoop, and he goes to throw a pass, and he throws it to Nick Nurse, who's standing basically right beside Daniel Tice in the corner, calling for a pass.
Was he calling though?
Has anyone been able to prove that he actually made like audible noise?
No, I don't think so. Maybe
Like, I'm sure he was yelling
No.
like directions.
Tice was
but-
right next to him.
Yeah.
If that had happened, I'm
Yeah,
sure
and that's the thing
Tice
too.
would have been like, "What?"
No,
Yeah.
like Tatum didn't react like that on the floor too. Like he
Yeah.
didn't point at Nick Nurse like, "What the fuck? Like, why are you there?" So I don't think it actually played that big of a difference. It might have just been.
Well, Tatum after the game was like
Downplayed
you
it.
were saying, he was
Yeah.
downplaying it.
Yeah, he
was
said that-
like-
he said that was a
he
bad
like, I can't
pass.
blame. And I mean, I respect that.
Yeah.
I don't like excuses, even though I make a lot of them.
Maybe Tatum actually didn't see Nurse
Yeah.
and just made a bad pass.
Yeah, you're
too.
right.
It just happened that Nick Nurse was in the corner because Tice was there. He just missed him and
Yep.
was more in the direction.
But
of
when you watch it back, like you see
Oh, it looks like he's trying to pass it to
and then he
Nurse.
jumps out of the way. Yeah.
and then he's just like,
Oh, yeah.
here we go, like come on, our ball.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look. For
Another-
Chris Paul would have.
Oh yeah, Nick Nurse would have been thrown out of the game.
Yeah,
for
Chris Paul would have like made sure that he got like, oh,
he-
he's out of the coach's
would've
box.
He would have been in the corner, like miming it. He was doing this.
Yeah, go to the replay.
Yeah.
Another thing, the last
leadership.
play, I believe, was this would have been the last play of regulation, the second last play of regulation. They throw the lob to OG at the rim, and he gets fouled, and they rule it a foul on the floor, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I can live with that not being a shooting foul.
But they blow the whistle
took-
at 1.8.
Yeah, they take
Yeah.
almost 2 seconds off the clock there.
But we were getting a lot of calls tonight.
You're right. No, you're right.
Last night. Well, let's be
That
really,
one-
truly honest with ourselves.
Yeah, because
we
Kemba.
were-
The one
We
Kemba
were-
one was
it was the play before that. Kemba got
that was a
hammered.
huge foul.
We were getting calls, and I'm not used to getting calls. Like my team,
They
like,
were
and
like-
actually like admitting it to myself. Like, okay, like that, probably not. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm usually that fan that's just like, we're getting fucking screwed.
Well, that's
We're
what you were
getting
doing
screwed.
in game
Yeah.
when the game of the OG shot. Like he was
Yeah.
just like, this is a huge conspiracy. Adam Silver hates the Raptors.
I do think there is a
But,
difference though between a missed call and a blown call. Where I think the Kemba one might have been a missed call, but this was full on a blown call. They made the call on the floor fine, but they just took time away for no reason.
Does part of that though like land on maybe Nick Nurse?
Yes,
like,
for
bringing
nobody
that to the officials' attention.
somebody on
Like,
the
you
Raptors
have
has to
yeah,
notice
you gotta,
that, I think.
You gotta
Yeah.
bring it up. Like that's what I'm saying. Are they just gonna let this go?
Yeah.
Like, they just accepted it.
Yeah, and to be fair, I didn't realize until after the play it started back up again.
I
But-
think that they were just that game was so crazy
Yeah.
that there was people you just don't have time to think about shit like that when you're in the middle of a game
yeah,
like that.
you're right. And then one last thing, they go to the end of the first overtime, the ISO with Norman Powell at the top.
Oh yeah, man, so many things happened I forgot
Yeah,
about.
I know,
But
right?
like that to me, I don't mind it.
Yeah, because he
I
was
honestly
hot.
don't. But it's not even that he was hot. It's just like Nick Nurse is like. I mean, is that the time to try new shit? Maybe not.
They
but,
had
like,
done that a couple times during the regular season too, gone with Powell as the closer for whatever reason.
and
But
it's like okay, whatever.
It was like the old Dwayne Casey, Lou Williams.
yeah, oh god.
To be
yeah.
fair though, when there's plays like that, you don't know what. Like I don't think it's necessarily like Nurse is like, all right, Norm, I want you to dribble out the time and take a three. It's probably like Norm, If you see
Yeah.
something, if you see an ability to drive, and then like, it's a Norm. Norm is the one who gets to make
Yeah,
the
it's
choice
just-
there, right?
I forget though. Was that at the end of the first overtime?
End of the first
Yeah.
overtime.
Okay,
yeah.
so here's my question. Nick Nurse's confidence in him at the end of the first overtime, did that instill the confidence in him to take over that second overtime?
It might
'Cause
have.
he did.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
have.
Because he did.
I kind of think that play might have been too. Whoever has Kemba on them, you get the last play because
Yeah.
Kemba was guarding Powell on that, and then
The idea though is like if you have Kemba on, you maybe try
drive.
to drive.
Yeah, you're right.
And,
you're right.
But don't just pull up and take a huge three.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out in the end. We won. And
Um,
Powell was huge in the
yes, he was. Yeah.
the sack. We were calling him Normal Norman last night because he wasn't playoff
I
Powell.
wasn't saying
but
that.
Someone started it.
Yeah.
We're not going to say who it was. No one's sitting at this table. But then he ended up being playoff Powell. So you were watching the game with the guy who started calling him Normal Norman. Did he change his tune?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
you got that.
Right when he started draining threes.
And that and one was huge
Yeah.
too.
Well, yeah, the
Two clutch
strip.
the strip and the two clutch free throws right at the end after Tatum.
Well, he hit
that three.
He was 6 for 6 from the free throw
Which
line. in
actually,
overtime.
that's something we haven't talked about either. The Raptors were brutal from the free throw line. They're probably not even in
every
overtime
single-
if they just make their free throws.
Yeah.
every
That's true.
single time we would get like an and one, we'd miss it.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
they
like
were-
we're not taking advantage of these things. Like the whole game, I was like, how are we supposed to win if we don't take advantage of like the opportunities presented to us?
They were 10 for 17 at one point. I don't know what they ended up being, but 10 for 17 is like almost Shaq territory as a team.
Yeah. Of note, too, we have been mentioned this. From the 20-minute mark of the fourth quarter to the end of the game, no centers in for the Raptors.
Which I was-
Ibaka and Gasol.
I was freaking out about that at home. I think I might have just been
Well, that's why
overlooking
Tice
something.
had so many open
Exactly.
dunks.
We
Like,
also didn't score in the last 4.5 minutes of regulation.
So I don't know if Nurse had just committed to we're going to
But
try and
Boston
lock
only
this
scored
down.
4 points.
Yeah, I
They
don't
were
know.
down by 4. We were up 4 with 4.5 minutes left, and then Boston scored 4 points the rest of the. So I think
Even-
it helped our defense. But they started picking it apart later with the Tice alley-oops.
And I would have just like maybe even on the last possession get Serge out there and maybe try and get something, even just have a threat in tight.
I
But
think they did.
They did. They put him.
They had Gasol into inbound.
There was one time where they put Surgeon for one play. I can't remember what it was.
Did they? I don't even
Yeah, they
remember
did.
that.
But it was
I
like
know they had-
literally for 2 seconds, and then he was back out.
I know they had Gasol to inbound the last play of.
No, it was
Regulation.
It was the last play of regulation when they had Surgeon too. He was right under the bucket. Or it was the last play of the first quarter.
Yeah, I think I remember
or the
what-
first overtime.
I think I
might
remember what
have
you guys
been.
were talking about because they were both.
I don't remember.
I think
It was too
Gasol.
much.
They had Gasol, Ibaka, and Siakam on the floor at some point, and I think
Yeah.
the Raptors committed. I don't know. There was
Anyways,
something going on.
Talking
there.
about who was on the floor isn't good radio. So yeah, let's move on. It's crazy. Game 7 coming on Friday. We will be getting you a reaction video on Saturday. Have we committed to that? Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's do it.
We
So
can even
I'm-
do it. Like, do you guys want to do it Friday night right after the game, or do
Are
you
you
want to
gonna
do
come
it?
here?
I'll be at work.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. Yeah. So Saturday we're gonna get you a reaction.
Saturday
to
I might
that.
have to Skype in, but we can figure that out.
Sure, whatever works. But we will be getting you.
Well, you two can do a reaction video if you want.
No, we're
I
not
won't-
going to do that. We're a
All
team
right,
here.
Yeah, we're a
wow.
team.
Teamwork. Wow.
Yeah.
You can't have LeBron and Wade without Bosch.
Yeah. As LeBron, I agree.
This will be my last episode of the podcast.
Yeah. So
Did you want to talk about Kyle Lowry?
Let's talk
Yeah,
about a little more about a little more about.
Rushmore?
Yeah. Okay.
To me, it's kind of weird, right? Because I think this is a Lowry Mount Rushmore game because
So you're saying it's a top 4 Lowry?
one of the but I kind of think that the other one might be in this series too. One of the other two. To me, it's
Well, the game 6 of
the game 6 of the
finals.
finals for sure.
Yeah.
like that's on there, and game 7 against Miami when they went to the conference finals for their first time. It was unbelievable. And then I think it's maybe you pick one of these two, one of the two in this series, the game 6 against the Celtics, or I believe game 3, the OG one, because he was unbelievable in that game too. So to me, those could be on there.
To me, this game is.
Yeah, so you would take that one, and then I guess you got to come up with one other one throughout his career.
I was thinking this is not in the playoffs, but when they were down by like 30 this regular season, losing to the Mavs by like 35,
Oh, yeah, the Mavs, I thought it was the Magic.
and he put up he almost 32, 8, and 10 in 42 minutes, willing the team back.
Yeah.
Not playoffs, so maybe
I
it
would
doesn't.
probably. I'm probably forgetting one.
What
during
was
the
it?
run last
Was
year.
it against the Pacers when he hit that buzzer like that?
That was against the Heat. That's not the game I'm talking about, but that was against the Heat.
The half court.
Yeah, they lost that game.
I thought it was
but-
against the Pacers.
No, it was like game 1 or game 2 against the Heat.
He was
'Cause
also he was bad at that game. He hit the buzzer.
Yeah. That's what stuck out. The buzzer beater sticks out in my mind.
That was
so
like
I'm
the prime, like Lowry and DeRozan can't play in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
I remember I was at a bar after
That's
during
when
that game,
they
and-
went to the conference finals that year.
Yes,
right?
and I left. And when the Raptors were on 6 with like 20 seconds left, and my buddy was calling me on the way home. He's like, "They just tied it." And I was like, "Fuck you! Like you're full of shit."
That's what happened during. That was
The OG thing.
No,
Yeah.
that's not. No, for me, I'm talking about that's what happened when the Leafs.
Oh,
Leafs
yeah, the
Columbus
3-1,
come back.
yeah. Yeah, so that would be a Kyle Lowry Mount Rushmore game. I'm sure there's other ones we're
sure.
forgetting, but
for sure.
for
sure.
And now I think, again, I don't know if we need to keep hammering this home, but he's absolutely Hall of Famer to me now. Like,
Yeah.
and I think he's done
I think he
nothing
was before,
but
but-
solidify this.
Yeah.
Dude, I think
Because the list of guys I think who are 6-time All-Stars and NBA champions who aren't in the Hall of Fame is there's like one other guy.
I
who
think
isn't.
he's entering the conversation of, and this might be a hot take because I know Toronto is a Leafs town. I think Kyle Lowry is in the conversation of like the greatest pro athlete in Toronto history.
That I don't even know if that's that hot of a take.
I
think
don't know about
history's tight, like tough.
most
because
okay, not greatest, most
Iconic?
most like
beloved.
beloved.
yeah.
Beloved.
It's certainly in the
Like
last
obviously
50 years.
we're going
probably, I
back
would
to like
say.
I'm sure there's
You
guys like
said
there's
beloved or beloved?
beloved.
Which one do you say?
I think
It depends-
usually say beloved.
To me, it would depend on how I was using it. Like,
Yeah. Beloved, like dearly beloved.
Yes,
That's like when it's like
it depends.
it's serious.
Yeah.
When it's when it's in ceremony, you use beloved.
Yeah.
But then beloved is just in casual conversation, and that's what this is.
And if you
Let's move on.
if you go back to like obviously
Keon.
the Leafs winning cups, obviously I'm sure there was tons of guys there who were absolutely adored. But in recent history, like who's in the conversation, like Matt Sundin, but he didn't win anything.
Joe Carter, maybe.
Doug
like,
Gilmour. Actually, Gilmour was probably he's more than Sundin.
Yeah.
Sundin is better.
Dave Keon.
That's what I'm
Keon's
saying
the
though.
guy,
That's
like,
going back to like
but-
cups though. Leafs
Yeah.
cups. I'm saying post Leafs cups. Like who from the Jays winning? Joe Carter's probably the guy there.
That team's different though because
Roy Halladay.
all those guys were there for like 4 years, and then they left.
Yeah.
Right. Like, Halladay's another one, but he didn't win here. He didn't win ever, but he did.
Jose
win.
Bautista, but he even had like some
People
people kind
didn't
of thought
like
he was a dick.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Donaldson again wasn't here long enough.
I think like Lowry's definitely in the combo.
I think he might be it.
Yeah.
Him and Dave Keon. They both need statues.
Yeah. Someone for our generation, someone for the older
Yeah.
generation. That's it.
Zach
So let-
Hyman will be there one day.
Let's talk about the rest of the NBA very quickly. Bucks
Yeah.
eliminated, so your two-time MVP and your Defensive Player of the Year.
You
He's
predicted
done
it
He's
on
done
the
in
podcast.
5
Yes.
games.
Yeah.
He's done in
That
5
was-
games.
Yeah, it was just. I know Budenholzer's taking a lot of heat too, because it's kind of crazy to look at that now. Because when you go back to when the Raps fired Dwayne Casey, Budenholzer was the Raps' choice to replace him, and he said, "No, you know what? I'm going to go to Milwaukee."
I also want to talk about, was it Richard Jefferson who said,
That he's a Pippin.
yeah, I saw a better quote.
He said Giannis is a Pippin.
Yeah, so Giannis is a Pippin. He's looking for his Jordan. And I was like, I don't think I agree with that. When I heard it, I was like, I don't agree with that because Pippen never won MVP twice. You know what I agree with, though? Giannis is a Shaq. He's looking for his Kobe.
LeBron looking for Wade.
I love that take.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
take to me is like that's perfect.
This is
he
Kobe.
needs a guy that can shoot.
And right before
So
this,
that he can
right before we
dominate
started
down
this,
low.
I was talking about how good Chris Middleton is, but he's not Kobe.
No,
He's an all-star.
and he's the only guy on that team that really can shoot. Like George Hill's a good shooter. He doesn't want to shoot.
yeah.
Like they just don't have.
Middleton's like arguably the best shooter in the league, like
Yeah.
all around. Like just
Like-
mid-range shooting threes. He was a 50, 40, 90 guy, which is a rare 50 from the field,
Yeah.
40 from 3, 90 from free throw.
It's like Steph
But he's-
Curry territory.
Yeah, he's not a superstar.
And that scares me a little bit because what happens if Giannis just goes to Golden State?
They can't make that work. I don't think.
Everyone
could.
everyone always says that.
Yeah.
I don't think they can though.
Yeah.
Well, the rumor that came out, we haven't talked about this either. The leak that apparently people in the NBA circle feel that Miami and Toronto, if he leaves,
Would be the
which if you
favorite.
did see Giannis's post game presser after that game, he sounded like he was obviously he's gonna say that to get people to stop asking him questions, but he was talking like long-term Milwaukee stuff.
Yeah,
in his post-game press conferences.
The question though that he was asked was about next season. It was about, are you staying here next season?
right. Which
So-
I mean, he doesn't really have a choice.
No,
it's
but
up to the team.
But if he tells them he's leaving,
They
they'll
might try and get
trade him.
something,
But
yeah.
I don't like. Honestly, I don't think they would do that either.
So do you think that Miami beating him, if that's legit, which we don't know, it's all speculation. If he's like, I'm looking at Miami, I'm looking at Toronto, those are my destinations. Miami beating him, does that help the Raptors' case?
That was my take. Remember,
Yeah.
I was like,
He doesn't want to be the Durant.
He doesn't want to be the Durant going to the team that beat him.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
The biggest factor though,
we also beat him last year, so it's like, is it just the most recent who beat
But-
him? Is that make him a
but
snake?
we
Or
lost-
does either of them make him a
The
snake?
guy that beat him though was Kawhi, and he's on the Clippers, right? He can
but-
make the argument that it's a
But
different
when
team.
Giannis comes, I think Kawhi's also. So that's the thing.
yeah, this is stuff we can worry about later. But I just think that the biggest factor, if Giannis is going to come, is his relationship with Masai.
and the Danforth.
Yeah, and the Danforth. Those are the two biggest things. Now we also
I love how his street is just like, dude, the
the
Danforth.
Danforth. Yeah.
the taste of the Danforth.
Pretty good, pretty good Greek food there.
Speaking of that guy, Kawhi Leonard and his Clippers are up.
I saw a tweet the other day that made me laugh out loud. I don't know. They were like, Greek food is the burpiest food ever made. I was like, it's so delicious, but you're tasting it for like 2 days later. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, a little tzatziki.
That's true.
There's-
It's just yogurt
Yeah.
and everything.
yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of yogurt, Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers are up 3-1 in their series over.
Good segue. Wow.
You're right.
Speaking of yogurt,
that
the
does-
Clippers.
that does have a lot to do with yogurt. Yo, yeah, I know what
What
he's
a
saying.
segue.
Los Angeles, they like their like low-cal yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, great segue.
Probiotics. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
LA is famous for.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're up
The
3-1.
Clippers are up 3-1 over the Nuggets. This series is over now, right? Like, the Nuggets aren't coming back.
The Nuggets just came back from 3-1
Yeah.
against Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, it's
and
Jamal Murray. He can do it.
Yeah, I think
I think Pat Beverly has Jamal Murray locked down. I don't think there's any shot. Just watching the game last night, it was like completely different. Like
Yeah.
in the Jazz series, Jamal was just doing whatever the hell he wanted.
yeah.
And then like Pat Beverly's he's locked him down. Like he doesn't have the freedom. He's dishing it off to Jokic a lot more. I just think it's not gonna happen. I agree.
I think the Clippers are
The favorites
the
right
out and
now?
out favorite
Yeah.
for the NBA title right now.
And then the other favorites, the Lakers, go tonight, 2-1.
I think this series could go either way.
I called Rockets to the finals, and I'm getting a little nervous about my take watching some
Yeah.
of these games. But
Game 2, the Rockets won Game 1. Game 2, they needed like a vintage LeBron performance to squeak by them. Then Game 3 got a little rocky, but
game 2 was it game 2 or game 3 when they were like tied? It was like no, it was game 3. They
yeah,
were tied
it was a
going into the
coin
fourth,
flip game basically.
and then AD and LeBron just took over in the fourth. And
Yeah.
then it was over. But
Westbrook's killing the Rockets too right now. I think
he's
like
playing like
he just
dog
doesn't. He just does not.
poo.
He should fit with that team. He just doesn't want to do the things that make him fit with that team. He doesn't want to be the inside scorer and distributor. He just wants. I don't know what
He almost has the what
Kyrie Irving thing.
Well, what we've
Yeah,
been
Russell
getting
Westbrook.
well,
Yeah.
what we were getting frustrated about with Siakam. He's been doing that for 10 years though.
Yeah.
Like just don't shoot threes.
Yeah.
You're not a good 3-point
He's
shooter.
like a 20-something% three.
What you are good at is just like driving to the rack with menace.
And then kicking it out.
Yeah.
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 And like, but he
to a team with some of the best shooters in the league.
insists on taking 7 or 8 threes a game, and he
Okay.
makes 1 or 2 of them.
So yeah, we're
Oh, can we talk about Daniel House quickly?
almost at 40 minutes of NBA.
This
Hey,
is-
we got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be.
I'm on a tight schedule here. We got time and brackets around each each thing.
Yeah, it's a goal here. So Daniel House is now being investigated for sneaking one of the female COVID testers into his room.
I don't agree with him getting.
I didn't hear
Well,
about
we
this
don't know what
until-
the story. I
until
haven't like.
before this.
This
started.
is just a report
He's just
coming
a
out
man.
from Yahoo.
He's just a man.
So I need to figure out why are they not? Are the COVID testers not in the bubble? Like I thought they were
don't-
in the
I
bubble.
thought
You know
they
what, let me
were
look into this
because when
quickly.
I was watching Matisse Thybulle's
vlogs.
vlogs, they were sitting there like they had a mask on, but they were just sitting there in those little tents. Like they were like they had like they had like dividers, and it was just like little like almost like cubicle style, like, and they were just each person was sitting in there. They didn't have like an exorbitant amount of like PPE on or anything.
Yeah, see, I don't know
It seemed
why.
like they were just like these testers are in the bubble, and that's like they're gonna stay here.
He's been getting tested daily. He's been talking to the tester. They built up a little bit of a rapport. Like, hey, I'm tested, I'm clean. You're tested, you're clean. Let's.
I have no issue with it.
Yeah, it doesn't say
Why
anything.
don't you come to my room and we'll watch?
Unless there was
Tenet.
an agreement.
and
unless there was an agreement between the Players Association and the NBA, like
Don't fuck the
no
testers.
just no fraternizing with the staff
Yeah.
in the bubble. Like that makes sense to me if that was the case. But even like, come on, like they're human beings.
I don't.
Like,
I could. There was nothing in the story about the protocol of the
It's
testers.
like-
but if they're not,
And are you
in the,
gonna punish someone for love? Too?
if they're not in the bubble, I think that makes it a lot different. But
Yeah.
I
don't
can
know.
kind of see your point if they're.
I'm never gonna punish somebody for being in love.
Yeah.
So this is the NBA has informed involved parties that it has circumstantial evidence implicating Daniel House for his role in a potential improper visit to the So he broke protocol somehow here. So it's less about him.
Do you think there's gonna be some COVID porns that come out soon? Some COVID tester porns?
Like-
Test this.
Bubble porn is like the new thing.
I just gotta swab the back of your throat now.
It's just taboo.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be doing this.
All right.
Yeah, well-
Speaking of bubble porn, the National Football League starts.
Man, how do you think of these segues?
Man, you're so good at this. Today.
Yes, we got NFL kicking off tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight we've got NFL. We got the Cardinals, the Texans, and the Chiefs.
That game's going to be over before anyone sees it, but
Yes.
just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just if you're watching this, what a game.
really good game. I can't
Pat
believe
Mahomes.
that the Texans
Travis Kelsey
won.
caught 3 touchdowns
But they
for my
sti-
fantasy
and
team.
they still lost to Bill O'Brien and the
Yeah.
Houston
And,
Texans.
yeah, the genius that is Bill.
Chiefs are going to win, but
Hey, you never know.
all right, you can pick the Texans.
No, I'm saying you never know.
All right, you're right. It's not.
You don't-
cut and dry.
don't
I'm
put
not
an
going to go
absolute
Charles
on-
Barkley on this.
Don't put an
This
absolute
game
on
is
it.
over.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You never know. Like bad training camps, like
Oh well, there's a lot of. If we want to get into the NFL, I mean, I know you got some questions you want to ask us,
Yeah.
but I think a big thing is how much preparation
Continuity.
football is involved in football, and teams don't.
early in the
Have
season,
that?
continuity is going to be huge.
Well, I
so
got-
like the Bills they lead the league in snap continuity. So
Yeah.
from last year, 88% of all snaps, we have all of those guys back.
I think that
88%.
potentially could be a huge thing.
Yep.
That's why. Well, do you want to get into your questions? Do you want to?
Yeah,
preface it?
unless there's anything else you guys want to get out there first.
So this is a segment that Brandon came up with and will be on our new website at thefrontpage.ca.
.ca, yeah.
Thefrontpage.ca. It will be on every single week. Brandon, what are we calling it?
We're calling it what? Oh, you came up with a name. I don't know if that's what we're
Okay.
gonna go with, but
Yeah,
this is your
so-
suggestion. Here.
So,
I think it was
it 10 questions at the forefront?
something like. Oh, that's better. I don't think that's what yours was, but that's better.
I think it was.
I heard Warfront, and maybe
No,
that's
no,
that would
dude,
be
no.
yeah,
Oh,
you
no, I
just
said
heard it wrong.
forefront.
yeah. The Forefront is
Yeah.
He's not
that's better.
a complete moron.
I mean,
So, yeah,
I
that is
am.
way better than what I
I mean,
heard.
I am.
We
but-
gotta call it the war front.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I love
10
war.
10 questions at the forefront right now. Let's go. Brandon, hit us.
So wait,
wish-
so you're gonna be doing your own written responses to these on the website?
So I don't even know if they're necessarily going to be responses, but I'm just going to be talking about
Okay.
the topic here.
Or we'll post the questions and we'll each have like a 2 sentences underneath.
We got things we
answering
can.
them.
Yeah, we could do that too.
We can do a lot. Like we're so flexible.
Well,
Like,
if you
we're
have
so
any
flexible.
any questions you want to hear for next week too, just tweet them at us, Instagram. Just do whatever you want. We'll get them on here.
Maybe you,
At-
if we start getting along, you might start a mailbag.
Yeah, we might have to do that. Was it Name on the Front Pod? At Name on the Front Pod at Twitter.
At Name on Front Pod.
Name
No,
on
the.
Front. At Name on Front Pod on Twitter.
Twitter and Instagram.
Send us your questions for the 10 questions from the forefront for the NFL. All right, week 1. We need like an intro for this too. We need some NFL music.
That's NBA, isn't it?
It's still good though.
Can you just do that
think it
underneath
is.
the whole time? Yeah. All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
The 10 burning questions. Number 1 is Bill O'Brien a moron or a genius?
Do you want to go?
So just when you think about that, the trade in the offseason, DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, I think there was a pick involved there too. So we might see this. This might have already played out in front of our eyes, but will Bill O'Brien after the NFL season be a moron or a genius?
Well, look, all signs point to Bill O'Brien being a moron.
Yes.
But if you want to talk about results, the Houston Texans, since he's been in charge, they've won their division 4 out of the 6 years, including the last 2. Playoff success hasn't really been there, but
They had one playoff win against.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have won that
so
game. But.
I mean, it's not like
They beat the Bengals. I think that was probably before he got there, though.
they also get drilled with like injuries to their defense every year.
Well, J.J. Watt is just a walking band-aid.
Yeah,
And Clowney was no better, too.
I don't
when he
think
was
you
there.
can blame
Whitney Merciless also gets hurt a lot.
necessarily blame him for like the results, but there's like some things that optically look horrible that
Yeah.
he's done.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pull a mic and I'm gonna be a fence sitter on this. I think it is. I think it's all it's all perception. So it's like the way you build an NFL team is different for everybody. So like maybe Bill O'Brien's idea of an NFL team is like we don't pay a wide receiver the amount of money DeAndre Hopkins was gonna be expecting. And to him, he was like, say what you want about the trade. I hated the trade. I thought the trade was like really one-sided. It wasn't good. But he's brought in Brandon Cooks, a past 1,000-yard receiver. They have Kenny Stills. They have Will Fuller, who will be hopefully a little more healthy this year, who's been injured a lot, but hopefully he'll be a little more healthy. They have Randall Cobb. So instead of having that one option, he's trying to spread the options out. And now they also have David Johnson, so he's taking a lot of risks on like players that have past success. And so the question you really have to it all comes down to like how he's forming his roster, and do you agree with how he's forming his roster? Sure, you had one of the best wide receivers in the game, but is the impact of that one wide receiver maybe getting doubled every single game and not having many other options, or having 4 pretty good receivers and now you actually have a run game to play along with Deshaun Watson? It depends on what you want. I'm going to sit on the fence and say that I don't know what's better because we haven't seen it happen yet. But I don't think you need to condemn Bill O'Brien right away just based off of the trade because we haven't seen it play.
Well, also, I think to be fair, this doesn't mean that you have to do it, but anytime a superstar gets traded in the NFL, I don't think it ever looks good for the team that traded the superstar.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of a trade where like a superstar went one way and you're like, what a haul this team got for this guy. It always looks like you got fleeced.
Except for Diggs. They were talking about how they got too much.
I don't remember
how
that,
the Vikings got too much for Diggs.
A lot of people
were talking about
say that.
A lot of people were saying that
I know,
because
but
it was,
you get in the
no.
depths of the internet, though.
No, but also on the mainstream media, people were saying that and it was only a reaction to how much Bill O'Brien paid for DeAndre Hopkins.
I still think if you look at that trade, like you're like the Bills won.
I agree with you. I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah.
I agree, but I'm telling you what I was seeing and it was only a reaction to because it was like 2 days after the DeAndre Hopkins trade.
So
everyone was like, if this is what Hopkins went for, why did Diggs go for this? And it's like, no, like that's not how you evaluate things. Like you can't do comparative trades like that because they're both in different situations.
And if you're gonna make that comparison, the Bills don't have a David Johnson to send the other way, right? If that's what Bill O'Brien wanted back.
We have a better guy, Devin Singletary.
David Singletary.
Yeah.
I think so. Just again, this is the easy answer, but I just think it's more likely than not that we're sitting here at the end of the year talking about what a bad trade that was for the Texans, just because Fuller's hurt all the time. Cooks isn't a number one option, and then
you don't think so?
Randall Cobb is ancient. I just think it's more likely than not that this
Cooks
really
has been a number
really
one
hurts
option multiple times in his career.
Yeah,
he was on LA before Cooper Kupp kind of took over. He was in New England.
Yeah, like
he's been a number one before. He just happened to have the one season that he's ever been hurt before was last year. So everybody thinks of him as like he's injury prone, but he's played 88 of the 96 regular season games. That's possible.
Yeah,
He's not injury prone, And he has 2 of the 5 seasons he's been in the NFL. 2 of them are over 1,000 yards, over 80 receptions.
Yep.
So that to me is a low end number 1.
What do you think, like, the difference in this season would have been if they had DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, that's a good point too. Maybe,
Like,
but I just think he's a game.
I think
breaker.
like the difference is like negligible. Like how many games? Like, do you think they win it? They go around further in the playoffs. Do you think they make the playoffs
But
or
I
no?
like, my point with Cooks is I don't think like teams plan their defense around DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
I don't
for
necessarily think teams have to scheme around the way Brandon Cooks plays.
But I also think that, like, okay, we're getting into
this
this
is
too
going
long. I'm going to end it off by saying I also think that they didn't have to scheme for the Texans' run game last year because it was non-existent.
That's true too. All right. Question number 2. Can Lamar Jackson sustain his mobile quarterback success? This question kind of comes from when you look in the past, mobile quarterbacks they've been like, there's been a long history of guys who have like really impressed for 1 or 2 years and then ran into injury troubles. Lamar hasn't had that yet, but when you look at what happened with RG3, guys like that.
I'm going to give a quick answer and say yes, because they just keep on bringing in more options to confuse the defense. They now have J.K. Dobbins. Some argue was the best running back in college football last year. I would disagree with that, but some argue that. So bringing in J.K. Dobbins, you still have Mark Ingram. You have Gus Edwards still. You have
Mark Andrews is there.
Mark Andrews. Like, you have Marquise Brown to stretch the field. So to me, yes, he can sustain it, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see how teams I mean, during last year, teams were probably already adjusting, but now you have like a full season to sit back and reflect on like the
Full
the
season
year
of
that
tape.
that he just had. When he gets held to under, I think it's 75 rushing yards, I think he has a losing record as a starting quarterback, or he's like 500.
Yeah.
But if you look at the strides that he made as a passer last year, I think like the future of Lamar Jackson is he becomes less reliant on his legs and just becomes a bit. He's 22.
Yeah, he's
I
young.
think that's what maybe separates
I don't think he's
him.
22.
23.
He played. I think
I
he
think he's
played
older than
3 years
23.
in college at least.
He's
You
still
have to
really
play
young.
3 years, yeah. So I think that's
All right, I think he might have played all 4 though.
yeah, you might be right.
He's
Anyway,
He's 23.
Yeah, so he must have. He couldn't have played all 4.
He's
then.
23.
He would have just played 3. Okay.
So, like, I think he takes even more strides as a passer this year, and he doesn't have to be as reliant on his legs, because I think teams are going to crowd the box against him. Like, they're going to force him to throw the ball. So maybe he doesn't have to be the game-breaking runner that he's been that he was last year.
yeah, for me personally, as a Bengals fan, I think part of me wants to say I hope he doesn't, but he's just so exciting to watch. I have him on my fantasy team. I want to see him do well just because I think a mobile quarterback is the most exciting thing to watch in sports.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
But it's literally there's no precedent of one being good for
No, there
a
isn't.
full career.
Yeah, so
That's why I think he's going to have to adjust.
Vic's a bit of an out. Like Vic, there's a bit of an asterisk there, I think.
Vic had the 1 year where he was like an MVP candidate though, and he wasn't like.
But
even before the dogfighting thing, he wasn't that very good. The next,
But he
few
wasn't
years.
he was a good starting quarterback.
Yeah, he was like a
But he wasn't like
top like
MVP level guy.
fringe top 10
Yeah.
starting quarterback.
Yeah. Question number 3: who will come out on top of the Patriots and Tom Brady divorce?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. You got a lot of stock in this one.
Brady comes first because, as a Bills fan, I would watch every offseason the Brady effect taken, and it's happening in Tampa Bay. Every single like name that comes on the market, it's just like, will he go to the Bucks? Will he go to the Bucks? He's going to go to the Patriots. Guess what's happening now? Every single again, it doesn't, obviously not every single, but like big names. It's just like they gravitate towards Tom Brady, and the Patriots don't have that advantage now this year. This year in the
But
offseason,
how do you know that the
I think-
success of Tom Brady wasn't reliant on
I
the
have
system
no,
in
I
New
have no
England?
idea. I'm just answering the question.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing that they've lost. They've lost that draw, the Patriots. And I think now that draw it's still with Brady, because the question in my mind was always like, is the draw the allure of the Patriots, or is the draw the allure of playing with Tom Brady? And what we're seeing right now is that it's Brady.
So you're gonna hate this answer because it's gonna
Sure.
be kind of a fence-sitting thing. No, I think the Bucks have the higher ceiling, but I think they have the lower floor. Like, I think the steadiness, I think the Patriots, I think you're going to, it's more what you're going to get. We talked about with the pandemic, like the turnover in Tampa Bay on the offense. Like, yeah, they have a lot of talent, but like, who the fuck knows what it's going to be, right? Maybe it's the best offense of all time. Maybe it's a shit show for at least the first half of the year. I think the Bucks could be a disaster. I think they could also be really good. I think the Patriots are more like, this is going to be like an 8-8 or a 9-17.
But that's why I kind of took the stance of like, as it sits right now, who's benefiting? It's Brady.
Yeah,
Brady has a better chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, like if Brady's still in New England, do 6 of the Patriots
Gronk doesn't come back.
Do 6 of the defenders opt out?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
kind of a tricky thing.
I don't know if that's like
it's tricky to talk about. But
you don't know what's.
But if you're gonna speculate, are you more likely or less likely to opt out if you're on the team? If Tom Brady's still your quarterback,
I would say
I think it's less likely.
For sure, it is. You're definitely right.
So I think Brady comes out on top of that divorce. I do.
I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier, just how important continuity is going to be. The Bucks have like none of that basically.
Yeah.
Like when you look at like obviously Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and those guys are still there, but when you look at the overall system, like the system that they're going to play is going to be totally different from the one they ran with Jameis Winston. So I don't know what kind of effect that's going to have on them.
Not that was that.
No, but it's just like you've got to completely change your offense because you have a guy who can throw a ball. Another thing, too, is when you look at teams in the past in the NFL, I don't know how relevant this is, but teams in the past that have loaded up in the offseason tend to disappoint the next season. You look at the Browns from a couple years ago. There was the Eagles in the late 2010 or the early 2010s. They got Michael Vick, Nnamdi Asomugha. They won the offseason, quote unquote, and they didn't make the playoffs the next year. So it's a really tough thing to do in the NFL, just completely revamp your team like that. And in a year like this, I think it's even harder to do that,
especially this year.
Just one word answer on this: do you guys think the Bucks, the Patriots, or both will make the playoffs this year?
Both.
I'll say both.
There's like an extra wild card, right? Yeah.
I don't think Patriots will win the division though.
Number 4. Can Teddy Bridgewater capitalize on his shot as a starting quarterback again? Obviously, he had that gruesome injury in Minnesota. Now he was the backup in New Orleans. Now he's finally getting a chance to be the guy in Carolina.
He's got the ultimate insurance with Christian McCaffrey behind him. But new coach. Like
you want to talk about returning
you want to talk about
they're one of the worst in the league.
Like I think he's up against it. It's tough. He's like one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league in terms of just like pure accuracy. He doesn't take a lot of shots, but he's got the weapons. He's got DJ Moore. He's got CMC. He's got Curtis Samuel. He's got Robbie Anderson now. He has a chance, and I think the biggest problem is going to be, did they have time to understand Matt Rule's new offense, new schemes? I don't know. I think he's going to be up against it early. I think he will be able to kind of rebound later on in the year, but I also think that it's not really going to matter because I think his leash is a lot longer due to COVID. So I think even if he doesn't capitalize, he's not going to be like, it's not going to be over for him.
They play in a really tough division too, especially now. So things aren't going to be easy for him. But if you look at a guy, like you just said, he's got for a guy who's like a dink and dunk quarterback, he's got all the options there to dink and dunk with McCaffrey, with Moore and Samuel are really speedy,
good slot receivers too. Yeah.
I basically just agree with I think the weapons are. I think he'll put up stats, but I think that team's going to be a bit of a tire fire. With the continuity, the division they're in, their offensive line is like a train wreck.
Yep.
So,
similar vein, another gruesome leg injury here. Alex Smith, one of the best stories of the offseason so far, getting cleared to return to football. Do we think he's going to get a shot to play somewhere at any point this year?
So he's the third string quarterback on the Washington
football
team.
Depending on how you look at it, yeah.
I don't know why this is coming to mind. I think he's going to go to the Raiders.
The Raiders.
I think Gruden hates Daniel Carr.
David Carr. David Carr?
Daniel Carr.
Derek Carr.
Yeah.
David Carr's his brother.
I always call him DC. Jesus Christ, that looks bad. Derek Carr, yeah. So I think Gruden doesn't like Derek Carr as a starter, and I think Alex Smith will entice him. And Gruden loves a quarterback.
Do you know who their backup is right now?
Yeah, it's Nate Peterman.
Yeah.
Nate Peterman.
So, yeah, if Carr goes down, if he has a bad start, maybe Smith is there. I think his best.
I just have a weird feeling about the Raiders. I don't know. It
Yeah,
actually
that
really
does make
is-
a lot of sense.
It's coming out of nowhere.
That makes a lot of sense
to me. I just yeah.
I think, although I do think his best shot might be in Washington. I don't know, because if they're a team that's out of it at the end, I could see them doing the Bridgewater thing that I think Minnesota did it a couple years ago when they were out.
Don't they have Mariota?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the Raiders
but he's
do.
hurt.
Is
He's
he
hurt.
like out for the season?
I don't know, but I
You're right,
I know
actually, I forgot about
Peterman
that.
is their
But I do-
backup right now because Mariota.
But I do think that Gruden will be enticed by Alex Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think when you look at, I think the Vikings did this a few years ago when Bridgewater came back. The last game of the year, they were out of it. They gave him a shot. They just let him start, so his comeback was complete. And I think like the Washington football team is going to do nothing this year, right? Like that team is going to be.
They're gonna it's like let's see what Dwayne Haskins can
Yeah,
do.
speaking of tire fires, that team is going to be brutal, and I think if they're out of it at the end, why not just throw your team a bone and give Alex Smith the start?
It's a nice story.
Nice
That's,
PR.
he doesn't even have to play the full game, but just
Especially for a team that's been like a PR nightmare the last
the last
year.
Yeah,
Well, fucking
and-
30 years, but like especially the last
and
year.
Ron Rivera does seem like the kind of guy that is cognizant of that kind of stuff to me too. Like he seems like he would know the positive PR that would come from doing that.
So 6?
Anything more on that, Mike?
No.
All right. Who will be the biggest surprise, the biggest pleasant surprise in the NFL this year? This can be a player or a team.
Joe Burrow and the Bengals are
I love that.
doing it. I believe in Joe Burrow. I'm an LSU fan.
Like, what do you mean doing it?
They're gonna do it.
Like what? like are they're making the playoffs?
No, they're gonna surprise. They're just gonna the Bengals were
Well, 'cause,
like
I don't like. Well, I'm saying they're like a 6-10 team. Is that what you think they're gonna go much better?
I
than
think
that?
they'll go 500 and miss the playoffs.
Okay.
I think they'll go 8-8. I believe that if you give Joe Burrow the weapons and
And they
obviously it's a new system that he has to go in during the pandemic, and that's very tough. But they have AJ Green, hopefully will be healthy. One of the best slot receivers, most underrated slot receivers in Tyler Boyd. You have T. Higgins. You have an absolute burner in John Brown. And
John
you have
Ross.
John Ross. Fucking John Brown. I got the Bills on the brain. John Ross. And you have Joe Mixon. So it's like his LSU offense was like you had a good slot guy, Justin Jefferson. You had your burner / all around unbelievable wide receiver in Jamar Chase. That's AJ Green. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just like Joe Mixon. I just feel like if their defense can play just like marginally better than last year, I think I am very comfortable handing Joe Burrow the keys and giving him all my confidence, because I watched him last year in the SEC and it was fucking crazy.
They're going to be a fun team to watch this year because they're going to have a bad defense and a really good, maybe not a really good offense, but they're going to have an offense with tons of talent and tons of weapons.
Potential.
A lot of potential too.
on
They're
offense.
outside of AJ Green, it's a pretty young team too offensively.
So that's my take.
Another big thing for them
Tough
too.
division.
Yeah, Jonah Williams is coming back. Their first round pick from last year. He tore his, I believe it was his labrum last offseason, so he missed all of last year. So this is such a sports cliche, but they have basically this year they have 2 first round picks. Their first round pick from
I
last
like
year's
that.
coming back, and their
So
first
true.
overall quarterback's coming back. So
true.
You say that's definitely the best division in the AFC.
I think so. It's the best. Might be the most exciting division when you think about the.
that
young
might be the best
quarterbacks in that
division
league.
in. I guess the NFC West is probably the best division in the league. But
Yeah,
that's definitely the best division in the AFC, like top to
it
bottom.
is now for sure. Yeah, it's exciting. I would say too. When you look at Baker, you got Baker Mayfield. You got 2 of the last 4 first overall picks.
We just look at like
in the
with
division.
Roethlisberger back, like the Steelers are
You're right,
always
yeah.
like, oh, don't forget about the Steelers, and like they are usually they're good.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
they're gonna be really good.
then obviously the Ravens, and then the Browns. The hype didn't work last year, but
There's
they're
a
still
lot of
supposed to
talent
be
on that
good.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
that's
yours,
my
Mike?
call.
So the 2005 draft was a guy taken 24th overall,
Oh, he's doing it.
and he remembers. He can list you the 23 guys who were taken before him. This guy holds grudges, right? He
also throws the ball away all the time.
Safely away.
I know.
He was unimpressive last year in a new system. And everyone's been talking about this team went 13-3, but they were 8-0 in one-score games. They got absolutely dummied in the playoffs. They can't stop the run. They didn't do much to remedy any of those things in the offseason. Big story, of course, of their offseason was them taking Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers has openly talked about how he was shocked. He didn't really say he was mad, but he said he was shocked. I think it's not unreasonable to say this could be his last year as a Green Bay Packer.
Really? You're going to go with
So
that?
I don't know.
I don't know if you
not
said this. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers, by the way. I don't know if you mentioned
Everyone
that.
knows.
Okay.
Everyone knows. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's not like it wouldn't be insane. Like he's not finishing his career as a Packer now.
No.
So would you define them as a pleasant surprise, or are you talking about
Well,
Aaron Rodgers being the surprise?
No. I don't think most people are pegging them as like an 8-8 team this year.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Dude, they went to the conference finals last year.
Okay. Well, then maybe then if you still think they're going to be that good, where would you think
I don't
I
think
don't
they'll
think
be
they're
that.
that-
I don't
I-
think they'll be that good, but I don't think they'll surprise anybody.
I think
by
they're
being competitive.
I think they're a fringe playoff team.
So and I think that's what most people have them pegged as. But I'm saying I think Aaron Rodgers has an MVP caliber. I'm not saying he wins the MVP.
Question number 9.
Saying he has an MVP caliber season. There's guys who are Mahomes, Lamar Jackson are on another level. He's not going to win the MVP, but he's in the conversation. He's the best quarterback in the NFC this year. I know Russell Wilson exists. And the Packers, they don't go 13-3, but they have another really good year. They're one of the top teams in the NFC.
Okay.
Because I think most people have them pegged as like a fringe, maybe not even making the playoffs team. So that's my pleasant surprise. And yeah, that's the team I cheer for, so maybe it's a little bit biased.
yeah.
So my pleasant surprise, I don't know that this is necessarily a surprise, but when you look at the division that this team plays in, I think it is. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals, and I think they're going to be a playoff team because
Yeah, that's probably the best division in football.
Yeah,
top
for
to
sure.
bottom.
Yeah, I think
Actually,
for
not even
sure it
probably,
is.
like definitely is.
you got Kyler Murray, first overall quarterback, finally settled in, finding his rhythm. You got him a number 1 receiver for the first time in his young career, and
he had Larry.
he still has Larry actually, which is crazy. I just think they're going to be a good
I think Kyler
team.
Murray's going to be really good.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins is top 3 receivers in football, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got a young quarterback. He's got all the weapons. That defense is pretty good too. So, yeah, that's my team. Question number 7.
Did he say what was his?
The Bengals.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot. Blacked out.
What team will be the biggest disappointment? I'm going to take this one first. This kind of goes a little bit with what we were talking about last year or last couple questions ago. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I have the same thing.
Yeah,
And,
we can
like,
talk
we've-
about it.
We've
but-
already.
Yeah, so we'll just touch on this again. Like so much hype, a lot of turnover. It's just things are gonna be really difficult for them this year. I think. Like they could be the best team in football. Like I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but I think it is more likely than not that
maybe
they're
best team in the NFC.
a huge disappointment.
49ers are so good.
I think the Saints are the team in the NFC.
Yeah, the NFC is really good this year.
Nothing changed to that 49ers
just-
team. Nothing.
Buccaneers.
They lost Breida, like Matt Breida.
and
That's it. And they replaced
Buckner?
DeForest
Yeah.
Buckner with Kinlaw in the first round. Like nothing. I don't know. Sorry.
Who's your biggest disappointment?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah. After CD Lamb got picked, everybody's like hailing their offense as like some unbelievable team that like is going to be unstoppable. They've been saying these things for years. The Cowboys are always overhyped. Every single year they're overhyped.
Yeah, they have a new coach now though.
Yeah, and he doesn't inspire me to like pick them either. Like Mike McCarthy is not like some like game breaker in my opinion. Like I don't know. I keep seeing them like on like ESPN like power rankings. It's just like Cowboys top 10. Like no, like I don't like. Where's the proof? They lost two of their like they have one of the best offensive line in football last year. They lost 2 of them. 2 of their guys. They lost their right tackle and they lost their center. So is it going to be just as good? I don't think so. Offensive lines need time to gel.
Yeah, you look at like
you're adding 2 new guys. Sure, you added CD Lamb. You have a little bit more firepower. But like I just don't think that they're gonna be as good as people think they are. I think they're gonna disappoint a lot of people because a lot of ignorant Cowboy fans are out there, and they're gonna be disappointed because they're not gonna be as good as they think they are. And that's it. That's my take.
I'm looking at their depth chart right now, and I haven't heard of 3 of their 5 offensive linemen, which is rare for that team. Right tackle Cameron Irving, I'd never heard of that guy.
That's their replacement.
Joe Looney is their starting center, never heard of him.
That's a replacement.
Connor Williams is their starting left guard.
I'm telling you, I've been
Never heard of
looking.
him.
I've been looking into this. They're going to surprise in a bad way. Like they're not going to be as good on offense as people think.
Another big thing.
Zeke scares me for fantasy owners out there.
Another big thing for them too, you didn't touch on there. Byron Jones left in the offseason for Miami. That was their number 1 corner.
They replaced him with Diggs, Trevon Diggs, and he's a rookie corner that didn't get an offseason.
And rookie corners, sometimes it takes corners a while to.
And you need to be able to practice in the system, and they haven't been able to. So
they also brought
I think
back
the Cowboys are going to disappoint.
They also brought back Aldon Smith in the offseason, that guy is a game breaker when he's focused on playing football and he's on the field, not suspended. So
the one thing that they have
32 years old.
Same thing as the Bills. Well, and they have 2 of the 5 worst teams in the league in their division.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. They have 4 layup games.
Question number 8.
They were losing those games last year. Let's get real.
Yeah.
And they're worse.
Who is your pick for Rookie of the Year? I have an idea that me and Aaron are gonna have the same pick here, but
they go offensive Rookie of the Year, defensive Rookie of the Year, don't they?
Yeah, you're right. They do.
If anyone doesn't pick, is anyone not gonna pick Chase Young for defensive Rookie of the Year?
No, that's a good one. Jeff Okuda could have something to say about that, though. I would think.
I make it my hot take is that Chase Young breaks the Javon Curse's 1999 record, 14.5 sacks by a rookie. He breaks that this year. And I'm going to...
The one thing that's going to hurt him, though, is that game flow, because that team, they're going to be losing a lot of games, so how many teams are going to be passing?
But I am saying offensive lines are going to be a mess because of the situation we're in, and he's going to feast. Mm-hmm. That team's going to be shit, but he's going to be exciting to watch. Offensive, I'm assuming you guys are both going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I will say Clyde Edwards-Helaire wins offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
You saw how Damian Williams kind of unlocked. He got unlocked at the end of last year.
Just in time for it not to count for my fantasy team.
And now they know what they can do with a dangerous back, so he's going to have a monster year. Joe Burrow, I do think, is going to be good, but I think it takes quarterbacks. I don't think he's going to be setting the league on fire immediately.
Another running back, this is more of a fantasy thing, but running backs in an Andy Reid offense are always dominant too. So he's going to put up numbers whether or not he's actually being productive. I'm going to go with Burrow just because you touched on a lot of this earlier. He's got all the weapons you could ask for except for maybe a tight end. He doesn't have a top-tier tight end, but he's got a great pass-catching running back. He's got 2...
He didn't have a top-tier tight end at LSU either.
Randy Moss Jr. isn't...
No, he didn't even get drafted.
He's got...
He's returning, isn't he?
No, he declared, and he went undrafted. They've got... Yeah, they've just got... AJ Green's one of the best receivers of the last generation. He's kind of been a band-aid recently, but he's going to have tons of talent. He's got all the opportunity you could want. And he's going to have to throw a lot because they're going to be losing a lot. Who do you guys think will win MVP this year?
I didn't give my answers, but...
Oh, you're going to go with CEH though, weren't you?
I was going to, but maybe I'll change it.
All right, what do you got?
I'm gonna
say what you think.
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be Clyde, but I really like Jerry Jeudy, and I also think that Drew Lock is gonna shock a lot of people this year. I think he has a lot of talent around him, and before Joe Burrow broke the SEC touchdown record, do you know who held it?
I'm gonna guess Drew Lock.
Yeah, and he played for Mizzou, who had no weapons. So give this guy some weapons. Give this guy an opportunity. He was pretty good towards the end of last year. I'm going to say Jerry Jeudy, just for the sake of being different. I'm going to say Jerry Jeudy does very well in that offense this year, and maybe he squeaks out the offense Rookie of the Year.
All right, who's your guys' pick for MVP?
Russell Wilson.
That's a good call.
I think just don't overthink this one. If he doesn't get hurt, it's Mahomes.
Yeah, I would say Mahomes too.
Russell Wilson has...
Wilson's a good call, though.
Tyler Lockett. He has DK Metcalf in the second year, and he got Greg Olsen and Will Disley as his...
Mahomes has more.
I understand that, but I'm just saying Russell Wilson
Has he won an
is
MVP yet?
never won
yeah,
an MVP.
that helps him too, I think.
Never won an MVP.
If Russell Wilson wins it, does he accept the award or does he give it to
I
God?
think he probably gives it to God.
He's Mr. Unlimited.
yeah.
Oh, have you seen those videos?
Yeah.
Like,
haven't
I think
seen all of
it's
them, but I've
fair
seen-
to say, like, fuck Russell Wilson. No,
He's my fantasy
that guy
quarterback.
is a Goomba. Those videos are
Oh, they're
nuts.
brutal. Well,
Yeah.
that's the classic case of like nobody ever tells this guy like that's stupid.
yeah, like the Garth Brooks thing.
Yeah.
Ciara's got to
It's
step
the-
in.
it's the
Ciara.
Literally, it's like this guy's surrounded by a bunch of yes men, and they're like, dude, you are Mr. Unlimited. You should put this out on the Instagram, on Twitter.
Do you think he thinks that those are cool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or,
He's an-
or
haven't
not
you
cool,
seen-
maybe he thinks they're like inspiration.
But also, haven't you seen who he was before he met his
Yes.
wife?
Yes.
He's a nerd.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's a dork.
Yeah.
Like that's just like he's a dork painted with like cool kid makeup. That's like what he is.
He's a dork with a lot of talent.
have you
Yeah.
ever seen any of the Garth Brooks thing on Netflix?
I
There's
have not.
Russell Wilson has that kind of thing where everything that Garth Brooks says is like
He thinks he's like-
trying to be like make it like an inspirational quote. Like
Yeah.
everything's like, oh, I just remember sitting back here
and I broke down.
yeah, like everything.
And then
it's
at
the most
end,
intense
I
thing.
realized I need to go on a nationwide tour for everyone. And it's like you were gonna do that anyways.
He's like a
not 'cause you
lame,
broke down
a
crying.
lame Matthew McConaughey. Like Matthew McConaughey does that too, but it sounds cool, and he does.
Because he is cool.
Yeah,
That-
like,
and
he's
Russell's
just
not. That's
I'm
the
dri-
difference.
Driving in my Lincoln.
Yeah, and he's got long pants and flip flops on, and he's got his Texas Longhorns hat on, and he's just cool.
He's
Like,
just a
this is
cool
reality.
guy.
Anyways,
All right,
Last one.
our final question from the forefront here. Give us your Super Bowl predictions. Who will win over who?
Okay.
hey,
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, if you want to go first, go first.
I'm gonna say they don't have it as successful of a regular season. Teams adjust to Lamar Jackson, but they go like 10-6. They disappoint a little bit in the regular season, but they beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and then they go on to beat Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints
Ooh.
in the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson does what Mahomes did last year, follows up an MVP year with a Super Bowl win. Baltimore Ravens.
there is nothing more Buffalo Bills than winning the Super Bowl when there's no fans.
That's true. That's true.
There's
That's
nothing
what
more
everyone said about the
Bills
Leafs.
ever for that to happen. So you know what? Buffalo Bills beat Tom Brady and the Bucks in the Super Bowl.
Where is the Super Bowl this year, though? They'll probably
I have
be
no
It's
idea.
probably in Florida. They'll probably be a packed house.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But
You're saying they beat Tom Brady?
oh yeah,
All right.
let's go Buffalo.
I gotta go similar vein to Mike, a little bit different. I'm gonna say the Seattle Seahawks beat the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson wins the MVP, like Aaron
Oh,
suggested.
man, the west coast of Canada is going to be pumped
Yeah.
for your pick.
Your hometown.
They-
Yeah, the Russell Wilson's gonna have his crowning moment. He's gonna win another Super Bowl. He's gonna win an MVP, and it's all gonna go to God.
Wow, big year for God. Pretty much every year, I guess, is a big
This
year
is
for
a
God.
bad year for God. God's being mean this
Yeah,
year.
man, Russell's giving it back to him.
Before we wrap up the NFL talk here, anyone have any bold predictions they want to get out there, just on the record before the season starts?
I think I made a couple. I said Chase Young's gonna break this rookie sack
That's
record.
bold.
Aaron Rodgers will be in the MVP conversation.
That's bold too.
I was
Bills winning the Super Bowl.
That's
is pretty
bold.
bold.
My
Yeah.
bold take. This is another homer pick here, but I think AJ Green's going to re-find his form that he had early on in his career. He's finally healthy again. I think he would have played at the end of last year if anything mattered. He's finally got Joe Burrow. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. He's got more
You want to hear?
of a deep ball option than Andy Dalton did. Dalton could never really throw the ball down the field that well. Burrow has the ability to do that.
Do you guys want to hear an absolute scalding hot take?
Yes.
do it.
Always.
Matt Stafford is up for the MVP
That's-
at the end of the season.
Ooh.
I don't think. Yeah, that's pretty hot, but I don't think it's like that insane. He is good.
Weeks 1 through 9 last year.
That
was
means the
on
Lions have to
pace-
be good, though.
He was on pace for MVP, and then he got he got injured.
The hotter part of that take is not saying Stafford's good. It's saying the Lions have to
Yeah.
be good. The team needs to be good.
They don't
But
even need to be
I
good,
think their
though.
defense is so bad that he's gonna have to sling.
They got to make the playoffs for him to be in the MVP.
Yes, but they don't
conversation.
but they could be like a 9-7
Yeah.
team, and he's like dragging them.
He's
there.
gonna have to sling with how bad that defense is. That's the way I look at it.
One more I'm going to throw out there:
That's
the Cleveland Browns will make the playoffs this year. I think it's not
They're
within.
finally going to do it.
It is not within, or it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Pittsburgh Steelers are a tire fire this year. I think that there is a chance that happens. They could be the worst team in that
But
division.
they were decent with
You're right.
no quarterback.
You're right. I just think
Tomlin's just a good coach.
He's
Yeah,
like the most underrated coach
Yeah.
in the league.
the other thing, the other side of that though.
You hate the Steelers.
You're right. I
Tomlin's
do.
never had a losing season
It's crazy.
But
ever.
so
Ever.
what I'll say though is the way their offense was last year, they catered to what Mason Rudolph and I can't even remember the other guy's name.
Hodges.
Buck Hodges, yeah.
Duck.
I won't like they
Duck.
catered to what they could do. Whereas this year, I think Roethlisberger's going to do what Roethlisberger does, and I think there's a chance.
And they always go 12-4
listen,
when he does that.
I think he's old now. Like he's older.
Yeah.
He just had Tommy
It's
John
the-
surgery.
it's a Spurs thing though. Like,
Yeah.
I have to see them not be.
You're
good
right, but I'm just
before
saying
gonna say
this
they're
is
not good.
within the realm of possibility to where he doesn't have it anymore, but they have to let him do what he does, and it's just a disaster.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's get into some Jays talk.
Yeah, so we gotta be quick here because we're already at an hour 20, so we gotta be quick on the last couple things here.
Well, the Jays have been on a roll. I think we have the second most wins in the month of August.
Since
August 17th.
August 4th, yes, one of those dates we have next to the Dodgers. We've won the most games,
And I think-
we've scored the most runs in that stretch.
The crazy thing too is you look at how they've played themselves out of games too. How many times they've beaten themselves throughout this, like getting guys picked off.
It's like if they were, if they didn't make those stupid young mistakes,
they'd be the best team in the league.
yeah, they'd be third.
Yeah.
They'd have the same record as the Dodgers probably.
Well, the Dodgers are fucking crazy.
They are out of control. It's like 30-12 or something.
Okay, guys, relax.
Do they play the Yankees again tonight? Sorry, just to hash
They
this out.
don't play.
They don't play tonight. All right,
Yeah.
they finally have an off day.
Past the Yankees now.
Yeah,
Speaking of the Yankees, that 10-run inning was insane.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to watch Yankees fans just squirm.
And I think
just,
the Yankees players too.
uncomfortable.
Yankees players just fully embracing their role as heels too, complaining about the lights at Salem Field.
Unbelievable.
That,
I love a good heel. I hate the Yankees, but I love the move.
just get lit up for 10 runs and then complain, we couldn't see the signs.
Yeah, we couldn't
like
either.
There was
yeah.
even people were claiming that the Jays were pulling
stealing
Astro
signs,
shit.
yeah.
They're just hitting everything. It's, because we're good.
Because you're throwing meatballs.
Yeah,
That's why
we're
everything's getting
good.
tattooed.
But I love the light take because it's what do we not have
Yeah.
to deal with
Yeah.
the lights
Has
too?
every other team that's played there
Yeah.
this year not had the same lights?
It's a good
So-
heel move.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a
great
great
heel
heel move.
Just grab their eyes. I can't see anything.
Big blow though. Rowdy Tellez out for the season.
yeah.
that
Tay
guy
Oscar.
He's a locker room guy.
Teoscar's not
Not
out
done for the season,
long-term,
but the one thing this is
I think Bo's gonna be back.
a bit of a silver lining though. The one thing that Tellez being out, it allows them to have a good defensive outfielder or a good defensive shortstop. It lets you can move guys around and it actually lets you improve your defense a little bit. You do miss his bat obviously by having Derek Fisher or Santiago Espinal in the lineup. That is clearly a drop off from Tellez, but the improvement on defense kind of mitigates that a little bit.
I've been getting some similar vibes. This Jays team as the Raptors in the regular season, where Ken Giles goes down, Romano goes down, Shoemaker goes down, Bo Bichette goes down,
Pearson.
and they
You said Shoemaker.
yeah,
sorry.
they just keep winning. It's just next man up. Let's do it. We just keep rolling off wins, and then now with Teoscar and Tellez, they're gonna have to keep that going. I think Bo's supposed to be back.
So
He
is
played
Pearson.
shortstop last
Pearson's-
night.
Pearson,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's soon, but I think he's throwing.
They did say Pearson when he comes back, he's going to be out of the bullpen though.
That's fine.
I
I like the way we're running this team. We had Ross Stripling come out of the bullpen last night. That was usually he's a starter.
Yeah.
We just
They-
have so much flexibility.
They
with
have
that-
the
with this
ability to
pitching
just
staff.
run the.
who we want to run.
Yeah, you don't even need
have the
starters.
depth,
You
yeah.
have Ryu and then
Taiwan Walker.
Taiwan Walker, and after that you
Those are
can
your
just
two
run bullpen
starters,
games.
and Roark actually I guess starts too. Did you
Rourke only did 4 innings.
did you see what he said
yesterday.
about
got
that?
mad. He was pissed.
Yeah.
He said that's horse crap. I think was the direct
Yeah.
quote. so that's
He
not
went Phil,
ideal.
He went Phil Rivers.
Because he had 2.
That's horse feces.
He'd only given up. He'd only given up 2 runs through 4 innings, and they yanked him. He was not overly thrilled about
Yeah,
that.
but
But then
they're
they
doing
got
the
smoked
they,
after
you,
that.
don't, you don't go through the
The order the third time.
Yeah. Another guy adding to that pitching depth, a guy who looked brutal at the beginning of the year.
2 guys actually. Another guy I want to add to your list here, but go ahead.
So are you thinking Dolis?
Yeah,
So
those
yeah,
are
and Yamaguchi. They've
2
both been really good.
2 guys that struggled a bit early on too. Dolis has been lights out. Like he's the only guy right now at the back end of that bullpen you really feel confident in, or he's the guy at least you feel the most confident in at the back end who's healthy right now pitching.
And I think you said this on here that guys who come from Japan, it's a different ball.
Yeah. So these guys both came from Japan last year. They both pitched in Japan last year. So
maybe they've just figured it out
Yeah.
and they're just really good.
that would
Like
that would hold up, I would think.
Again, like we have an overwhelming amount of pitching depth.
Yeah,
on
it's
this
weird.
team,
It's weird.
which is not a bad problem to have at all.
Not at all.
Nope.
So
It's actually nice. Like I don't remember a Blue Jays team where I'm like we usually have good bats because like we're in a
Yeah,
hitter friendly park.
even those years when like the Donaldson
I was
Batista,
like,
it was like,
the one thing I'm worried about
our
is
bullpen
yeah.
and like was always kind of the rocky part of the team.
That's why we lost to Cleveland is because we couldn't keep up with their bullpen.
Well, their
yeah.
bullpen was like
that was fucked.
yeah, but that's like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
Andrew Miller would throw
we
4
felt-
innings a night.
we felt inferior
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the pitching
Yeah.
department more often than we like now. I don't like I
That's a
don't
good
I
point.
feel like we don't.
Um,
So let's go to our predictions. Let's
Okay.
update people on our predictions.
Yeah.
The
do you
Blue
have them
Jays,
there?
as we sit right now, are 24-19. So that's 30. That's 33.
So they've won more games than
That's
Brandon
40.
predicted.
That's 43 games. There's 17 games left.
Okay.
Okay. For Mike to be Mike to be right.
Can you
the
bang on.
Yeah, to be bang on
yeah,
in
I'm
the
already fucked
in
with
the
that.
17 games,
That's
we
good.
have to lose 14 of them.
Yeah, so I have to go 3 and 14.
Yeah, for Mike to be correct.
Yeah.
But on the opposite, we have to go 14-3 for me to
Wow.
be correct. For me to be correct.
so it's like an equal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So
And I'm out.
And Brandon's out because
It's-
Brandon was Mr. Negative as per usual.
So it's basically like if
20
they
to-
go
20 and 40.
if they go over 500 the rest of the way, you win the belt.
Yep.
If they go under 500, I win the belt.
essentially, I think.
What
yeah.
if they go 500?
I think I still win if we go exactly 500.
30. What would that be?
That would be 34.
Yeah, I would win.
Yeah, Aaron would win.
Okay.
So
Because I'm 30. For everybody who hasn't seen, my prediction in 60 games was 38-22. I was very positive. I got roasted when I made it. You guys were like, "Oh, the homer."
I don't know if you got roasted.
Yeah,
just got
you gave me a little
No, we
flack.
did.
I
You
think
gave me
his
some flack.
his was more insane.
Yeah.
Like you went off the rails. Like I don't think any team
I was in a
the
bad
MLB
mood, all
is
right?
going
Things were
20.
stressful.
You were in a bad mood. You were like, the hitting angles for.
You're already mathematically eliminated.
Yeah.
So
Well, no.
Yeah.
I'm mathematically eliminated from. I think I can. If they lose out, I think I still
No,
win.
because they have 24 wins.
Yeah.
I picked 27.
Oh,
if
yeah,
they
fuck,
lose
I'm
the
out.
rest of the
Yeah.
games,
So-
you still lose.
All right, I'm out.
So we'll bring this up. Everybody who doesn't know these picks are for this belt right here. Whoever has the best or closest season prediction record for the Blue Jays will win the belt and will be the honorary, like the inaugural champion of the Name on the Front podcast. But we are starting this right after. We'll also be posting our NFL picks. I'll bring it up again. That will be the next thing the belt is on the line for.
Okay.
So
Total season?
Yeah, total season. So from the end of the MLB season until the end of the NFL season, that belt will be on the line, and we will have our champion. That
Okay.
will be his reign.
Yeah.
So my reign will be how long is that? What? 4 months? 5 months?
Yeah, it's a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Until like
Yeah.
January,
Yep.
December.
And you guys, you know what? Throughout, you guys can challenge me if you want. Throw a challenge at me anytime you want on
I
the
love how he's just
podcast.
declaring himself the
Yeah.
champion already.
Oh yeah, that's a heel. I got it. I'm the champ. I'm the unofficial champ. So, but yeah, all seriousness, I kind of like the idea of like active challenges. So like my reign is 5 months, but I can lose it if I get bold.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you guys are just like, we're going to put it all on this weekend. Like these picks this weekend. If I beat you in these picks, I'm challenging you for the belt because I think your picks suck. And I have to accept it. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I kind of like that. I like having it active because if it's just me or Mike are just the champs for 5 months and there's nothing.
Well, that's why I
really,
thought we were doing you have to defend it every month.
we could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that too. We'll
But then
talk it
it's like,
through.
what we need to.
I like
talk
a
it through.
spontaneous challenge.
Because then it's like, what do we have to put
Yeah.
something on the line for the
Yeah.
NFL picks
Yeah.
as well.
I like a spontaneous challenge.
We'll figure it out.
So, but at the end of the NFL picks, whoever wins that gets the belt. But there
Okay.
will also be spontaneous challenges throughout.
So Leafs, do we want to maybe just keep this brief? There's
Very
a few
brief,
things here.
yeah.
I don't even we need to talk about this. But we mentioned last week, you think you said everyone come with one player, one non-Leaf who's most likely to be a Leaf.
Did we get into? Did we not do that?
We said, he specifically said let's bring one next week.
Oh, okay.
We talked about it a little bit. Do you want to just brush that off? Like we can. I think we maybe can just skip Leafs this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
We'll-
talk
we'll
NHL.
talk about
Let's
that
just
next
talk
week.
Wayne
NHL.
Simmons maybe a little.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, eh? He's just basically openly.
I like that. He seems like the kind of guy we need. He would be a good fourth line right winger.
Yeah,
for
he's got to take $700,000.
and he's got to play on the fourth
Yeah.
because we have too much right winger
Yeah,
depth.
he's got to take. So
a
little bit of grit.
or anything you like. What the team still left? Anything you want to talk about?
I think this Tampa Islanders series has been awesome. I loved watching Tampa finally
Open the floodgates.
just like their offense is just what people expect.
Yeah,
And
they look like they're locked. in.
last night,
Yeah.
that ending was so fun.
Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I know
7
he scored,
seconds
yeah.
left.
Did you see
Kucherov
John
scores.
Cooper on the bench too? He was like just I've never seen an
broke
NHL
character.
coach
Yeah.
sally that hard.
Yeah,
Like he was.
I love that.
yeah.
I love breaking the mold.
Like you just tell he was just so excited
yeah,
after that heartbreak last year.
because in the first game, Tampa got away from the Islanders got away from what they do, which is just like stingy, like piss you off, like defense, and then like just always capitalizing on the opportunities that they get, which is like the most frustrating thing. That's like how Boston plays. It's like just the most frustrating, as an opposing fan, it's the most frustrating thing to watch your team have to go through. Columbus plays like that,
yeah.
right? It's just like, it's so good. You're so well coached. And then for them to break through that with an 8-2 win and then the Islanders be able to lock back in and then you like finally break through it with 7 seconds left. I think that's what John Cooper's like reaction was from.
Yeah.
It was just like that relief, like, fuck, I thought we were going to lose that.
And then your boy Joe Pavelski's locked in a 1-1 series.
He's got a shot at a ring. You know, Joe's gonna get his ring, I think. So
I'm on the Dallas train on the other side.
That's who
I
picked him from the
Ben.
beginning.
I like Ben. I like Sagan. I'm obviously still on Tampa because I think Tampa's going to win the cup. But
yeah, fuck Vegas.
I agree. Yeah,
Not as a place. Just
yeah,
as
I
a
love the
team.
town, the city, but like I don't like the fact that they're only 3 years old.
Quickly, what did you make of Novak Djokovic like hitting the ball at the line judge, and then he's out of the tournament?
Yeah.
Like
My problem is I didn't see the game.
yeah,
I saw just the clip, so like I don't know how pissy he'd been the whole time, or like.
he clearly wasn't
That is-
aiming at them.
no,
But
that-
everything I've seen, all the narrative that I've seen around it was just like he was just being pissy and he smacked the ball.
he's had a tough year.
He doesn't have a
Novak.
good-
He's done a lot of stupid shit, but
tough public reception,
So you know what?
perception year.
I liked it because Shapovalov had to play the winner of that game, but then he lost anyways.
yeah,
So it's like I'm kind of like we're robbed of like Djokovic being Djokovic now,
Yeah, that's just. I think that
which kind of sucks.
so that is a black and white rule, though. If you hit an official with the ball, you're out of the tournament.
so okay,
So
he
it happened to Serena Williams at 1.2, I believe.
I saw one of the funniest, even though
Recently?
it was a line judge, not a ball boy. I saw one of the funniest takes I've ever seen. Somebody was just like, "We're losing the number 1 player in the world because this dog person, like
It's a
playing
fetch,
fetch, yeah. This dog person can't get out of the way of the ball." Like I was like, "Man, what a funny thing to call somebody, a dog person."
Yeah, I don't know. There's a bit of a bigger picture thing too, but Djokovic has done a lot of damage to his public perception and reputation this year. I would think with that, coupled with the COVID party that he threw, where he had a party in June, and half the people there got COVID.
yeah,
And then he also hates vaccines.
yeah. He's
So
an
he's been
anti-vax
very
guy.
open about how he will not be taking a COVID vaccine if that
I
happens.
mean,
Oh, this is the thing I saw in the news too. It's just funny. I just thought of it. There's a priest in Ukraine who has been like been preaching like throughout the whole pandemic that like everyone who's getting COVID, it's because of they like embrace they're either homosexual or they embrace homosexuality and God's punishing them, and he just got it. So
Love it. Karma.
he's got some explaining to
Yeah.
do.
I
Yeah,
can't wait for that
honestly.
speech.
Yeah. All right.
What if he just turns? He's like, gay people are good now.
Yeah.
So yeah, my hypothetical this week is what I was I mean, like you guys always tell me don't read Reddit, don't read Twitter. Like I like to know what the general public believe. And I know it's a thought, I know it's an echo chamber and all that kind of shit, but I saw a lot of takes about the refereeing in the Raptors Celtics game, that they were just too involved. So I wanted to put it to the table. What sport or like I don't know, you guys want to do like what you think should go to robot referees,
I think what
or
you would want.
what you would want, and or what would benefit the most. You know what, I like this. What sport would benefit the most from robot referees, and what would suffer the most?
Okay.
Okay. Do you like that
Yeah,
one?
let's do that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm just
So
thinking.
I think we're
So
all,
take
we're all
the
probably
human,
gonna have a very
so take human
I mean,
error
I-
out of it
I think-
for these sports.
we have a very
Benefit,
similar
like,
answer.
It's gotta be baseball.
Yeah, I think baseball's the sport that would benefit the most, just because it seems like the most black and white. There's a standard rule, like if the ball is in this spot, it's a strike. If it's outside of this spot, it's a ball. And
And
it seems like you could just use the thing that tennis has.
Yeah,
with, like to
the law,
judge.
yeah,
You just could use that, and whether or not it's a strike.
And I know there's like baseball purists who say the human error of an umpire is part of the sport, but like
I kind of like that too.
the rule of the sport, like
Because it's part of a skill for a batter to like understand, as long as the strike
Yeah.
zone's consistent.
But
it's
that's not
understanding-
supposed to be.
Yeah.
what the game
understanding
is.
that ump's strike zone.
game is
and
supposed
it's
to
part of
be-
it. I don't know. I like that.
The game is supposed to be
If
a
the
strike
ball-
is a
yeah.
strike and a ball is a ball, and you can
just
you
like
can
wh-
adjust. Like you could be able to like if someone's taller, you can adjust the computerized strike zone.
Yeah, I really enjoy like watching a game and watching it play out, where it's like this guy's a really good hitter and he knows that this
Yeah,
guy's
I
calling
like-
the
that's-
strike zone.
I like that too.
A little outside, and he waits on it.
It is-
because he's like, I know that this guy's been calling it this way, even though this is technically a strike. I know he's not calling it a strike, and watching him lay off,
Or even the pitchers
like
knowing
having the active mind. Yeah,
pitchers knowing where they can place balls
Yeah.
because the guy's got a smaller or bigger strike zone
yeah.
that day.
I like watching the game and watching that kind of like transpire. I
It
like
is.
that. I think it's cool. And I know obviously like baseball is the definite answer. Like it is.
I think it will be one day too.
Yeah.
Like I think we're not far off from there
Worst?
not being
NFL, it would ruin it. There's a holding on every play. So if you have computers being like that's holding or that's not,
Yeah, well, yeah.
where like I just think there would be just way too many penalties.
I think yeah. I think
I
think
think
the
it would
other
ruin it.
three out of the big four would all get ruined.
Yeah.
Because I think you can.
Call a foul. In
I think you
basketball
can
and-
find a foul.
Yeah.
I think you can find a penalty in hockey. I think you can find a flag in football. On like out of most
I think
things,
hockey
right?
less so than basketball and football though.
Yeah.
It well, if
A
you're
lot
going by
of
the
hockey-
letter of the law, like this.
If you're
hooking,
really
just
searching
holding,
for it, though,
Sure.
you could
Yeah.
find a penalty.
Yeah.
Sure, but I think less so.
Yeah.
Because I think every single play in football, there's a penalty that you could call.
It does take a bit of the emotion out of the game that I would miss. I think ultimately, I know it.
I need
sucks.
somebody to blame. I can't blame a
exactly.
computer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to yell at a robot. Like,
Yeah. I
this
mean, I
fucking
do it.
program?
I do it to my computer and I yell at my phone.
The fucking programs, it's fixed. They're
algori-
using codes.
the algorithm.
yeah.
yeah.
Boston hacked the algorithm.
Oh, can you imagine that'll happen
Brad
too?
That would
Stevens is a
definitely
hacker. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the next level. Like,
The
oh, the
Virgin
Houston
Brad.
Astros, they got
Yeah.
into the computer.
They hired a nerd.
Hey,
He's
no
work-
nerds.
No nerds.
no nerds.
It
on the
violates
dugout.
the nerd clause. 2060.
But yeah, so that's it. You know, if you're watching the NBA playoffs and you feel like you're in heaven, join the boys on Saturday for our takes on Game 7. That one was good.
That was.